P5X 1.4 live stream just ended, and let me just say, it's the best live stream yet. Such a big improvement compared to the last live stream. The only complaint I have is the subtitles. Sometimes the subtitles are still not there, but overall it's a really good live stream. The live stream was super long, but was filled with content. Other than like the intro part where they talk about nonsense stuff, everything else was really good. Speaking of nonsense, this guy even flexed his freaking pool on screen. 3 5 stars in one multi. That's crazy. But anyways, the first major thing of the update is the Mindscape. So the Mindscape is basically like a new upgrade system, and you get it at level 55. And it's very similar to the Wonder schema, which you are probably familiar with. So you can like upgrade stats using a currency, and that currency can be obtained through your Velvet Trials. So you better go and play Velvet Trials right now to get some stars. I personally have not really played Velvet Trials much, and I definitely regret it now. I want to play it, but I have to make this video, so I'll play it after I make this video. You actually get the currency every single day, and the amount of the currency, the Stardust shards, the amount of Stardust shards you get depends on the number of stars you have in the Velvet Trials. So the further you climb, the more stars you get every day, which means you can progress faster, which is why you should play Velvet Trials. And one interesting fact here is that we're actually getting this Mindscape feature 5 months earlier than the Asia versions, which is actually a good thing in my opinion, because that allows us to get the rewards earlier, because we get them only once a day, right? Since we get them 5 months earlier, we have 5 months of extra currency. So I think that's really nice. So you do want to upgrade this because they actually buff your stats, and each character in the game will have the Mindscape except for Wonder, because Wonder already has the schema, right? So the next thing is the Trial of Thorns, which is a new event, and the event is basically like a boss fight, and there's like 2 different modes in this event. So there's the regular mode, I forgot what it's called, regular mode and a custom mode. Regular mode is basically similar to what we have with like the Madarame and Kaneshiro boss. You just battle and get rewards basically. Then for the custom one, you actually can choose the buffs you can give to your opponents, which is super cool in my opinion. And they also give you trials here. You can use trial characters, which I think is really great. You get to use characters that you don't have outside of cube bosses, right? And basically all the bosses will have like these different buffs that they have in the normal battles. They will have a set number of buffs. In custom mode, you can give the buffs to the boss, and depending on the number of the buffs you give, you can get more rewards. I will make some guides on like the bosses and stuff. I'll try my best to make guides for like all the battle stuff in the game. So if you look forward to that, feel free to subscribe. So you can get good rewards here. You can see you can get some pools here, very good rewards. So you do want to try it. And then there's like the most difficult one is the Nightmare. The Nightmare is the most difficult one, which is level 80. And then I don't think you need to play the Nightmare to get like the pools. It's only for the badge and I guess this thing. So the more important rewards are at the hard difficulty. But if possible, I'll make a guide on the Nightmare difficulty, depending on how hard it is. Then the next thing they added is a new route to Metro of Desire. So they basically remove some stuff. Actually, I'm not sure if they remove or not, but they added some stuff, or I guess maybe replace some stuff. So you can see here that all the bosses have been replaced except for the snake. And then they also changed like this set. The previous update was a Scarlet Tide, right? Which is every like 4 turns, the Scarlet Tide will attack you and your opponents. But they removed that and they replaced it with this new set. And the set is basically, when you attack, you gain a mark. And then when you have enough mark, you unleash a powerful attack. So that means I also need to make an updated guide for this Metro of Desire, because I don't know if the healing cheesing method will work. Maybe it still works, maybe not, but we will have to see first. Then the next big one is of course Phoebe, the new character, Yumi Shina. She is a 5-star character, a navigator who is going to standard 6 months after her banner ends. So just like the previous characters, Phoebe also got a buff. Not a buff, quite a lot of buff. I think the most amount of buffs a character has gotten so far. Pretty much every single thing, almost every single thing got a buff. I'm not gonna explain how she works and stuff because that's gonna be long, because this video is just a summary of the stream, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But she basically buffs a lot of damage, and if you're a mono team, she's gonna work really well. Even her weapon got a buff as well. And actually it's not just Phoebe who got the buff. I think almost every character in P5X is getting a buff, including the 4 stars. So that's super exciting. That's actually the most exciting part to me about this stream. I'm very excited for the buffs, so that means I get to use characters that I don't really use as much. Someone like Riddle, who I haven't used in quite a while, or someone like Sepia. So it's very exciting that we can use those characters and make those characters viable. This is the buff for Phoebe. Her awareness, you can see that the SP increase, and for A1 is basically your cocktail will upgrade. So your cocktail has like three different tiers. The higher the tier, the better the buff you can give. Your cocktail will be upgraded using her skill 1 and skill 3, I believe. These two. A2 to extend the duration. Turn 1 turn to 2 turns, which is pretty big. A6 I think is probably the biggest one. So basically some damage increase, 120% to 135% if the cocktails you spend is the same type. Literally all her skills also got a buff, every single one. So basically just more buffing. And skill 3 you can also buff crit damage, so it's a lot of buffs. Her 5-star weapon I think got a really good buff here. Previously it was only 55% chance to guarantee cooldown reduction, now it's a guaranteed chance, 100% chance. Which means that you can speed up and use more buffs. So you can use buffs more often. So it's super exciting that not just Phoebe is getting buff, but everybody else also got a buff. Like for example, Lufel is getting a buff. It's not, they didn't specify what. I'll make a separate video on all the buffs. I'll be reacting to all the buffs that we will get. So definitely look forward to that. So Lufel generally will just make burning easier, and then you can also debuff something. Debuff and then support attacker, and then also buff against fire team. So Unteam is going to be even better. Then we also have Reader. Reader basically will separate the stacks that you use for skill and highlight. Previously it's like the same stack, and then using a highlight is very difficult because the stacks that you use for the highlight wears out very fast. So I hope they've changed that or something. We don't know the specifics yet, but at least that is getting changed. So thankfully, so it's good for me because I have A1 Reader, so I get to use her. We also get Phoebe's Synergy update. I think previously was only until level rank 13 or something like that, but now I think everything is like full until rank 20. So we're also getting a new Synergy, Ayaka Sakai, who is also court. So the buffs you get from playing her Synergy is mostly to do with the band, the music. So I think it might make your music like easier, the game easier. I'm not exactly sure how easy or how they make it easier, but yeah, something to do with the band. And you can also unlock new music. So we have a few more things, and we are getting a new Makoto Nijima skin. So okay, not really new, it's the same skin from Royal, but you get her, and you can get it for free using the jewels, but I don't recommend that if you want to pull. But if you like her, go ahead. Or if you like this guy, then go ahead. This guy is super excited. And then one final thing is that they are preparing a new challenge to be released to both Asia versions as well as the global version, and this is exciting, and it seems like it's going to be like some sort of challenging content, so I cannot wait to see what's that. But that's about it for the update. It's a pretty decent update, quite a number of things to do. We have the Metro of Desire, and then we have the new event battle, then we have another upgrade system where we need to use. So I'm actually quite excited for this one. I'm mostly excited for the buff. I'm very curious to see what or how they're gonna buff the characters.